Got it.
All right. Welcome, everybody. This is the Sit Rep. It's Spencer and CJ. Welcome back. Today we're going to be covering redefining the mission. What redefining the mission entails is what we had to go through to transition from military, corrections, law enforcement to the civilian force, whether that be our entrepreneurship, careers after the military, and so forth. To start it off, I wanted to ask you, Spencer, what things did you come across during your transition phase that were obstacles post active duty and deployment and service?
So whenever I first got back, whenever I started transitioning out of the military in general, you gotta think. I was in from the age of 17 to 28. That's 11 years. I was wanting to be a lifer in the military, but unfortunately I got injured overseas and I ended up getting med boarded.
Mm-hmm.
So on my transition out, I thought that I was going to be fine. The civilian life is going to be super easy because the military life for me was easy, and everything was just going to be, I guess, rainbows and butterflies on the outside. It's a new mission that I'm going to be able to adapt to and overcome.
Mm-hmm.
The truth about it is the moment I got out, give it 2 to 3 months, I started missing the brotherhood. I started missing everything, the mission. There was no mission. No one's waking me up. No one's telling me I need to go do PT. No one's telling me that I need to stay in shape and force myself to go get a higher education or anything. There was just no mission. Some people on the outside just exist, and that was one of the biggest issues for me because I had no driving force. Whenever you're in the military, you're a cog of a bigger machine, and you know your role, you know your place, and you know your mission. On the outside, there's no role, there's no place, there's no mission.
I had a career where I enlisted at 17, went active duty, did my whole stint in service active duty, and during my transition to the Army, I got injured, sent back to the Marine Corps, went to Wounded Warrior Battalion, and that's how I got out. Now, I can completely resonate and understand the post-service tackle of trying to find your place in life, right? Yeah. I was part of, like you said, I was part of a team. I had direction. I had mandated leadership, right? I had officers and senior staff that told me, hey, this is what we're doing for the next year. Make sure it gets done. Once you're out and you sign that dotted line, you're not part of the club no more. The brotherhood's still there. The love and loyalty's still there, but you are now a number that's on the outside of the fence. And I went through the same tackles of trying to find my place, find my brotherhood, find my tempo. And I think that's imperative to why we're successful now. That's why we've been able to excel, is because we followed a small set of rules, and that was rebuild our body, rebuild our mind, and rebuild our tribe. And what's your aspect on that?
Well, the aspect on rebuilding, it comes from discipline.
Mm-hmm.
If I didn't have the discipline in the military, then I wouldn't have got as far as I did. And then once I got out, I started noticing that whenever you come out and you're thinking, oh, everyone's going to look up to you because you're in the military, they don't look up to you. All they look at you is, oh, well, he served. Oh, he went to war. Oh, he must be crazy in the head. That's it. To where in the military, we were leaders. We were NCOs. We led people all the time. So stepping into another whole complete different world, to where whenever you're saying, hey, we should do this or that, and they just look at you like your military career meant nothing out here. So yeah, you're just kind of crazy. And then once you get a little upset because they're not doing things, or you're watching them fail because they're not doing something that you told them to do, that's where the transition's really, really hard.
And it's hard to translate our skill set from service into the civilian world. Equally, we have a reputation and name we built up, and now we're transferring it to a new industry, new world, and that doesn't always fit well. From my perspective, I left and I couldn't hold a job. I worked as a warehouse guy for a while. They didn't work out. Then I went to school. I've been a full-time student since 2019. That's been my only thing I've been dedicated to consistently before what we started building and before my executive protection career.
Yeah. Trying to transition, especially a combat unit or a combat MOS like 11 Bravo or infantryman, that's so hard to transition out and come to find a job on the outside. It was about 4 months, and I was going crazy just being retired. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. I have to find something. That's why I started looking into executive protection.
Mhm.
I started looking into any kind of veteran help that I can get to get into executive protection, and that's why I went down the route I did.
I got to the position where I didn't need to really work. I was financially stable. My household was financially stable. COVID was hitting. I was still going to school full time, working on my bachelor's, and I was sitting down playing video games, gaining weight, not healthy at all. And it took my spouse. Actually, I came up here to help a client that needed some EP and PI guys. Those guys were young, untrained, and it took that push from an outside source. Luckily, my spouse served. She's military too. So she understood, and she saw me kind of deteriorating mentally and physically, which goes back to the three things you should work on, right? Your
Yep.
mental, physical, and team. So what ended up happening for me was it wasn't until I got a client that wanted me. He actually coerced me into coming back to work. His exact words was when he met me, he said, "I'll fire both my bodyguards right now if you come work for me full time." And that kind of shocked me because I'm not, I didn't think highly of myself. I wasn't in the shape I used to be in. I was broken. I walked with a limp. I was bigger, not lean, not fast, but it was something he saw in me and my wife saw in me. And eventually I just got hungry again. He was like, "No, come work out with me." No, you're not dead yet. His exact words that got me going was, "You're not dead yet, dog." And,
Yeah.
he, very unique client, very intelligent, very driven. And he pushed me to be better. So I was lucky to have that.
Yeah. So when we talk about having a loss of mission, and whenever you got out and you were sitting around playing games all day, not really doing anything because you're financially stable, I think it's ingrained in all men that we have to be productive.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get into a military mindset at a young age and you're around nothing but alphas all the time to where you're always pushing and pushing and pushing, I think whenever we get out and we get into that situation, it just kills us on the inside. So we always have to have a mission. Luckily for those in the military, we understand discipline, we understand a regiment, we understand everything that we have to do. It's just that motivation, that teamwork to get behind you to push you. Whenever I got out, I didn't have that teamwork. I didn't have that motivation. Even the wife that I had at the time was like, "Oh, this is what you should be doing because you've done enough in your life."
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Viking, man. I need to go out and I need to do things. So I started that. I started taking ice baths in the morning, hitting the gym as hard as possible, getting into the same or the correct mindset, the correct body shape in order to do a job that I'm searching for. And then I found executive protection.
No, and you hit on something like, and I'm gonna recap on the spouse thing. That is our first circle of our team, right? That's like your partner out the gate. That's
Yep.
it. That's the person you chose. I was lucky enough to have my wife not stand up for it. She was like, "If you're not going to do anything, you're at least going to use your GI Bill."
Yeah.
And luckily that's paved the way for us and helped us in more ways than we can count. It's made me more reputable. It's made me more knowledgeable when it comes to business. I ended up getting my master's. I got my MBA. I'm working on my second master's now. I wouldn't be in that position if I didn't have a partner and a team that pushed me to move that way.
Absolutely.
And organically, as our team kind of merged and as me and you became a tribe and we kind of collectively are gathering this hodgepodge brand of misfits,
Yep.
we've encompassed this group of ambitious, entrepreneurial, hungry individuals. I think that's something important to think about is like, I lost my grind. I didn't lose my grit. Because even with my TBIs and getting out in Wounded Warrior, I still pushed myself. I still had to go accomplish things, but I wasn't pushing myself as hard as like a brother or leader would say, no, that's not enough.
Yeah.
You've told me multiple times when we were working with clients or doing crazy things together, look, dog, you're getting a little fluffy.
Yep.
I know it's wintertime. I know you're like a bear, but hey, let's go to the gym. You need that other person to push you sometimes. And that's where rebuilding the tribe, plugging in with hungry, ambitious individuals, other like-minded individuals, not always military. We're going to interview Dennis, another security professional in our circle. We got Daniel. He built the podcast by himself with his own hands in 30 days, 60 days ahead of schedule. It's that team environment, the motivation and energy we bring to the table as a collective. It's not, once again, not the lone wolf, not the solo player. It's a team.
Absolutely. It's a team. And if you have people like myself and you around, we set a standard.
Mm-hmm.
It's like whenever I started coming around and working with you more, you started seeing, oh, well, what do you do? Well, I work out every day. Well, what
Mm-hmm.
do you eat? I eat nothing but a carnivore diet. Like, let's get into the fucking beef of this, man. If you're not setting an example for everyone around you, or you don't have someone there to set the example, then you're going to do whatever you want to do, whatever makes you feel comfortable. And comfortability, or like comfortableness, it kills you.
Yep.
Like, you're going to be like, oh, maybe I can skip the gym today, or maybe I don't have to wake up at 5 o'clock and jump in a freezing bath of water. Like,
Mm-hmm.
things like that. Like, you start becoming more comfortable and more reliant on the better things of life, to
No.
where we never had that in the military.
And that was one of the main rules and emphasis and kind of pillars that we lived by, right? Complacency kills.
Yeah.
And I lost that along the way. Luckily, I refound it. Luckily, I'm not that person anymore. And to put the perspective of what you were touching on, as a EP and security and consultant, I'm a fairly above average person in our industry. I've operated across the nation. I've operated and one of my big hubs was Dallas, and then my second big hub has been OKC. With that being said, when we got in touch with each other, and when we started building A-TAC and the tactical school, and working with the military bases and working with the vocational institutes, we've encompassed and embodied a whole other level of standard that is above the baseline. And that's why people come to us for projects. People come to us for security. People come to us to solve their problems. But with that in mind, I wanted to touch on, even you called me out, and it's a different type of respect and loyalty, is when you're like, hey, I know you could shoot, but you could shoot better.
Yeah.
You just need to stop being lazy, and let's go get these dot tortures in. Let's go zero it in. Let's go run drills with the rifles. Let's go do some stuff. And it took one, being humble, right? Knowing like, yep, 100%, I need to be better. Two, I was lucky to have someone like you, who is way above my tier, to be like, no, you could get to this level. You just got to work at it. It's not free.
Yep.
And that was imperative.
Yeah, and I didn't get up to this level until I found people I could attach myself to, and that's why I've been searching outside the military.
Mm-hmm.
I went through LA, I went through a bunch of training for executive protection out there. I've gotten in circles with Israeli Secret Service. I've gotten in circles with WIPs contracting, overseas contracting, DDMs, any kind of civilian operations I could get into, I got into.
Mm-hmm.
And I surrounded myself with these people. And I noticed the same thing. Whenever we're together, we're fantastic. But whenever we're apart, we just kind of slide apart. We don't talk anymore. We don't do anything like that unless I reach out to them. And they're like, oh, man, yeah, I've been really thinking about this and that. And I'm like, okay, cool. You're thinking and you're talking about things that we've done together. Have you done anything outside of that? Have you done anything since we've been apart?
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, I've been kind of more focused on this. I'm like, no, brother, you need to stand up. You need to start doing
I know
stuff.
exactly what it was. I was being an inside cat.
Yeah.
I'd be an indoor cat.
Exactly. You have to, and that's what I learned. Like, everyone out here has the motivation to do it. They just have no one to push them to do it. That's the reason why whenever I step in, I'm like, hey, come be part of the community. I will set the standard. You come up to my standard, then we can do anything in the world that we want to do.
No, you're 100% right. And that fed into the segue of us even launching all of this. You know, we have the tactical school, we have the experience, we have the jobs, we have the contracts. Realistically, I'm financially stable to do whatever I want within means. I'm not, I'm okay.
Yeah.
But you touched on something earlier. If I'm not building something, if I'm not working on something, I revert back to that lazy, inside cat. What's the word, is when you're like stagnant, you're complacent.
I'm the same way.
And the thing I appreciate about you and getting in touch with Daniel is, you know me sometimes better than I know myself, and I know sometimes my wife hates that about you.
Yeah.
But
well, we're married.
Yeah. No, but you were able to like put me in the room with Daniel, and you've seen it happen. And this was before I got like on the right pace to managing my crazy psych profile.
Yeah.
Within 2 hours of meeting Daniel, you're like, well, let's just do a podcast, dude. Let's teach, let's mentor, let's help guys not do the same things we're doing. Let's help guys be more effective and efficient than we are. Let's prevent that next generation from falling on their face. That converted to building a podcast, and then we launched a whole business. We launched the studio. We launched a marketing firm. So like that happened within 30 days. That doesn't happen if you don't have the right people around you, the right motivation around you, and that right circle.
Yeah. And a lot of military guys who get out who didn't make it to the NCO Corps, they always looked up to someone in the NCO course.
Mhm.
They had a mentor somewhere. And fortunately, I was a mentor to a lot of guys, and I was that NCO that a lot of people looked up to because I set the standard. As long as you made it to that standard, I'd keep pushing you and pushing you and pushing you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I don't have anyone to mentor or I don't have anyone to push along, I get the same issues. I become that house cat again, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
I fall back. Can I push myself? Yeah. I'm waking up. I'm doing everything for myself every morning, but I have no motivation to do anything like teach or come in here and talk smack to Daniel until he gets stuff done. Like, it's just, we all have different traits, and some people need to be pushed by the NCO, and some of the NCOs who get out need people to lead, to have them follow. And we motivate each other. We feed off of each other. That's the reason why we're so far. That's the reason why we keep pushing even further and further.
That's the reason why we're building the compound.
Exactly.
It makes it easier. No, excellent conversation. We're gonna dive deeper into this in future episodes. Before we wrap it up, we're gonna cover the loadout, and the loadout is something that we want to pass on to our listeners to take into consideration to learn from our shortfalls and failures. Right. So the purpose of the loadout is to pass on to our viewers, our listeners, those guys that want to learn from our shortfalls and failures, the corrective states or steps or tools to not make those mistakes or to implicate, to soften or dampen the blow of that shortfall, right?
Okay.
And we touched on it throughout the podcast. We touched on it throughout the conversation. The big thing is mental, physical health, and building a good team.
Absolutely.
Whether that's getting a mentor, whether that's getting a coach. If you don't know, hit up that JP guy. The JP guy is a Marine Corps coach. He's a veteran. I love his stuff. We're in contact with his team. I look forward to hopefully getting him to help us out. But realistically, if you take care of your mental health, your physical health, and you have the right team, the chances of failure are minimal.
Yeah, and if you're a listener out there and you're a veteran, or even if you're not a veteran and you need this motivation, our community's open.
Mm-hmm.
You can come in anytime that you want. You can come talk to me. Tell me, hey, I'm having issues with this or that. We can help you from anywhere from getting your VA rating up to getting jobs, getting placed into anywhere that you can want to work at. Like, we don't only do security stuff. We have all kinds of opportunities open, and we will set the standard. We'll help you drive towards that. And just remember, all your skills in the military are perishable. So if they're not sharpened all the time, then you're not going to have them all the time. So come in, talk to us, sharpen your skills, and we'll get you wherever you need to be in life. If that's more relaxed and more on the retirement side, but you still want to be motivated to work out and stay in shape, then we got you. If you need help getting your GI Bill taken care of and getting into school and learning the loopholes that you got to jump through for that, we got you on that. I mean, CJ just said he's been a student since 2019, and he actually got me in school. He got me in through all that stuff because my wife was a civilian. I knew nothing about it, and he pushed it. So we can help you do any of that stuff.
Yeah. We're doing this for the community. We're doing this for the team, and, we're doing it for the overall collective. So thank you guys for listening. Chime in next time. We'll hear from you soon.
Yep. Out.